Okay, so I want to fill you in on what you're about to watch. So the segment of us backing out of our driveway was actually the very last thing that I filmed on Monday, June 13th. And our expectations of what was going to happen with our plan, for those of you who don't know, when it comes to harvest and plans, there are no such things. Because about the time you have a plan, that's the time that you don't have a plan. So anyway, our plan at the time was we were backing out of the driveway. We were headed to our trailer house, which was about 1.5 miles or 2 miles at the fairgrounds. And the house was locked up, everything was shut up, ready for the summer. So we went back to our trailer house. The next morning at 5:30 a.m., Jim wakes up and says, you know, I really just don't feel good about getting on the road with as hot as it's going to be. And the wind was supposed to blow like 30, 40 mile an hour from the south. And our old Pete is 33 years old and struggles with being hot anyways. So we decided that we would sit it out for the day. We would leave early Wednesday morning. 11:30 that night, a storm starts moving its way across our area, and we receive a tornado warning. And I get out of bed and start getting dressed, and Jim's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I am not riding a tornado out in this trailer house. So I got my clothes on, and we both got in the pickup and headed towards Manley. And I swear Jim was going 20 miles an hour. It felt like even moving at all, it was barely. And I said, Jim, could we go a little bit faster than this? Because I feel like we need to get somewhere. And Jim says, well, where are we going? And I said, well, I think it makes most sense to head back to the house and get in the basement. So we made our way finally to the house. We get to the house just as the storm is hitting, and in the video you can kind of see there are leaves and small branches blowing around as he's fumbling, trying to get the doors unlocked and into the house. As soon as we got into our house and in the basement, we lost electricity. And we sat there, I don't know, an hour. Long story short, we did not leave early the next morning. What we ended up doing was cleaning up debris, tree limbs, making our way around the community, making sure that the girls' houses were fine, and we felt comfortable enough that we could leave for the summer. So that is what you're about to watch. And we did leave Wednesday. It was about 2 p.m. We arrived at the farm probably 9-ish and set the trailer house up and went to the farm the next day, which was yesterday. Enjoy. Well, everything's locked up. Tornado warning. Oh, when the lightning flashes, you can see the circular clouds. Looks little bit faster.
Here, you hang on to these. I'm doing the best I can.
I know, but look at the leaves swirling around. First damage of the day.
Some of that building that's open to the south.
They exposed the combine anyway.
Well, I don't think it was sitting there. I mean, that ain't where it sits.
Oh. Like a limb came out of your tree and took out a clothesline wire, but other than that, I'd say your house looks like it survived, Jen. No windows out. Jim's trying to see if he feels the ground is hard enough to get this thing out without tearing up the driveway. Plus, we have this tree blocking the road, so he can't make the right turn, which is what he kind of set up to do. So we're trying to figure out what the next step should be or will be. Starting this up, seeing if we can get it moved closer to the edge of the driveway. And I'll show you where the combine was sitting, right there. The grain bin would have hit it. So this is the second sort of natural disaster that Jim has avoided by doing something different. First time was that fire up in Jordan. We parked our equipment in a different location, and had we not parked it where we parked it that year, it would have been burnt up. But this grain bin belongs here, but is now over there. We spent the morning cleaning up, and we are on the road now as of about 2:15. So we're hoping to make it all the way tonight. If not, I guess we'll park it somewhere, make it the rest of the way in the morning. It's much cooler today, much cooler. It's about 30 degrees cooler than it was yesterday at this time, with a northwest wind, so that will help. We are finally officially beginning this 2022 harvest season. Combine is behind me, but after the morning that we had, after the night we had, it's a little bit later than we anticipated being, but we're headed south. For those of you who have been following us, you sort of have an idea of the history behind Zeorian harvesting, and a really quick story for those who do not know. You can go back and watch some of our previous videos to learn more about the history, but I'll tell you in a really quick, short story. So in the early 1950s, 1951 I believe, my grandpa, who had been a custom harvester in his local community in the areas around Esmond, Lebanon, Kansas area, began to take his combine on the road. I was 12 years old when I went with Grandpa and Grandma for the first time. That was in 1974. So do the math, you know how old I am. Anyways, then the next year, 1975, I met Jim. He was a hired man for Grandpa and Grandma. He went for 2 years, 75, 76. We dated when I was in high school, got married in 1982. The fall of 1982, we bought our first used combine, and Jim started going on harvest with my mom and dad and my grandpa and grandma. So what I'm getting at is, this is actually the 72nd summer that this family's history, legacy, has been on the road as a custom harvester. Pretty much a crazy thought in my mind. I think we've probably been doing it as long or longer than my grandparents have or were. 72 summers. Anyways, we're not going as far south this year as we did in the past couple. Medicine Lodge and the Chase, Kansas jobs are ready at the same time, and we decided that we needed to begin north of Chase, Kansas, and after that we have no idea. It will be going day to day by faith and hoping that something else rolls around. If not, I guess this circus heads back home. It is 8:45 p.m. and we made it back to the farm. That was a long day. So now we'll take that back to town and get everything set up and hooked up and go to bed early tonight, hopefully. Hey, Jim and I really hope that you enjoyed today's daily update. If you did, why don't you give it a thumbs up for us? We'd like to know that. And be sure to hit the subscription button and the bell notifications so that you know when the next video is up and ready to watch. Thank you, and we're so glad you're along with us for the journey.